In this video, I'm going to be doing a quick review of the AKEZ e-bikes and the reason why to avoid this company altogether. This isn't the first bike I had problems with. I actually had 3 of these, one which is already sold and gone, but I still have another one over here which is actually supposed to be a better one. This one has the 220 amp hour batteries and the 1000 watt motor. Well, this one here is a 750 watt hub motor and 213 amp batteries though. But they both pretty much had serious flaws. And forget assembly, it was pretty much atrocious. I ended up having to use my own hardware to fix the brakes and stuff. But I'm going to go over some of the major issues that I had to fix with these bikes and the reason why I just avoid them altogether. Now the reason why I'm pointing at the crank here, because when I got this out of the box, this here was actually hitting this and wasn't allowing this to turn. Not sure you can see the scratcher nut right there or where it would hit that. So what I did to fix that was I added 2 spacers there to space it this way. And even though you can bend this back this way here, it just kept shifting over to this side. So I ended up having to add the spacers to kind of center it. And now it's centered on both sides pretty well, as good as I'm going to get it. And I had rode it a little while, so yeah, it stayed there, so it's good now. But I shouldn't have had to do that. And this is not the only one I had to do that. I also had to do that to this one over there too. So it's 2 in a row that was bad. And you can also see some of the rust there too. It's supposed to be carbon steel. And there's a little rust there and there, and it hasn't even been really wet or anything like that. It's the way it came from factory. But, you know, I'm used to buying Chinese e-bike and stuff like this, so I'm kind of used to having to, of course, do brakes and stuff like that, having to go over and check it over and stuff, but this is unacceptable. You shouldn't have to worry about this. And this was here, like I said, hitting there where you can see the clear mark there, where this was stopping right there and it wasn't allowing the crank to turn. And it wasn't due to shipping, because the other one was the same way too and stuff like that. And overall, there really is no damage or anything like that. Showed it had rough shipping. The box was in good condition. It's just the way it left factory. It was pretty bad, actually. The other major issue was with this right here. Now, this here is my own brake hardware. I actually had to add this myself because they didn't even use hardware. They just used washers pretty much. They left these loose, and not only that too, but when you tighten it down, it would actually rub and cause it to rub on that side, and it wouldn't center the toe and stuff like that. So I ended up having to use the self-adjusting washers to fix this, so that way I can center it and keep it from rubbing. And I'm not sure you can see in it, but it's pretty center right now too. And I also had to change the adapters, because the adapters were wrong. And when you did tighten it down, it would go too much into there, and it would grab either too much of the rotor or too little of the rotor, therefore not allowing, of course, you know, it to evenly hit the road. But you want the whole pad to hit the road, but you don't want it to be more than 1 or 2 millimeters too much in or out. Otherwise, if you have it too out where it's not grabbing the whole rotor, it's going to wear halfway through and it's going to stick. Now, if it goes too much in there, then of course it's going to wear too much into the rotor too as well. So I had to fix that. And to fix that, here, I'll go and show you. Thankfully, I have other brake parts. I had to change these for the correct actual offset on there to get it exactly right. And then I used the proper brake hardware so it can align it, because, you know, frame's not completely straight, so it lines this way here, so that way it centers it, and it's, you know, when it's off, it's not wearing the pad unevenly and so forth. So that was another major issue I had to fix with this e-bike. Other than that, it's actually been pretty good on this particular one, because this particular one does ride fine and stuff like that after I did all the fixes and stuff. The only thing I really don't like about it is the way the pedal height, but it's a common issue with just this style frame itself. It rides more like a scooter / motorbike more than it does a bicycle, because when you go ahead and sit on there, it's pretty much useless to pedal because your legs are so cramped up. But it's this particular style of bike pretty much. But like I said, everything else has been good. The batteries are 13 amp hour capacity. I did discharge them and everything else, and they do hold what the capacity actually claims they stated and stuff like that. So it's been pretty good. Voltage sag's been pretty decent too on them and stuff like that. It doesn't draw, it's only 750 watts, but it doesn't drop the voltage too much when you're cranking it at full throttle hard and stuff like that. So this one's actually been pretty good. But this one here, ooh, this one's been the problem bike. And I'll show you too. Similar issue. But this one here, I didn't have to add spacer because it's acceptable, you know what I mean? Here you go, let me go and put it there. Where it's not quite hitting, you know, there's still gap and that's as far as it goes. So it's not as bad pretty much, but you can see it's still pretty much uneven. And to me, like I said, that alone by itself makes it a deal breaker on these e-bikes because you shouldn't have to worry about that. The other major problem is, and I'm going to have to take it for a quick ride to show you what the problem is it hops. When you go and try to do anything that's full throttle and try to crank the throttle on it, the motor starts to vibrate violently and you can hear kind of hopping, you know what I mean? And I did check the tires, I also did check everything. I also had to replace the rear tube already in there because the inner tube on this one here had a hole and it wasn't from hitting a curb or any holes in the tires because the tires are perfectly fine. Came from like that from factory and they were actually installed improperly where this here, the stem was kind of like this way, so when they put the inner tube in, they didn't really do a good job. And same thing here I had to do with the brake hardware. I had to use my own brake hardware to get these perfectly aligned. Now that I got them perfectly aligned, they work great actually. I haven't had a problem with the hydraulics. This one has full hydraulic brakes and they do work quite well, but you know, I ended up having to use the brake adapter, the brake hardware to get everything lined up properly because everything was all loose and you know, you could not ride like this. So out of box, if you're a customer trying to buy this e-bike just to get onto it and use it, I would not recommend it because it needed so much work and I needed so much of my own parts to get everything perfect, to get the brakes to work perfectly and stuff like that. And like I said, this one here has other severe issues. Now the reason why I'm definitely not going to recommend the company was because I showed them a video of the hopping issue when you hit the thing full throttle and the hops and stuff like that to show something's wrong with either the controller or the actual motor itself and stuff like that. And they have yet to respond and it's been months. It's not like something that's been, a couple of weeks or whatever. It's been a long time and they did ask for the video and stuff and I gave to them. They have yet to resolve the problem. So I'm not dealing with this company no more. They're kind of one of the worst companies to deal with when I compare to like Arista Motors and other ones which respond right away. They send you parts right away and they don't give you a hard time. But this company here, this AKEZ company, avoid. So next part of the video, I'm going to go ahead and get on this thing. We're going to go and take it for a ride and I'm going to show you the hopping problem it has, and that will pretty much conclude the video. So I'm going to go ahead and demonstrate the hopping issue that this e-bike has. This is the AKEZ. This is the 1000 watt with the 220 amp hour battery. So this is actually supposed to be the better one from the other one. And you don't have to hit the throttle pretty much all the way. If you just hit the throttle pretty much regularly, it starts hopping pretty much. You have to hit it really lightly for it not to hop. And what I mean by hopping is the motor will make a hopping sound and it'll feel like it's skipping and you'll feel some vibration coming from the rear. Now, like I said, it doesn't have to necessarily have the throttle 100%. It just does it when you twist the throttle, a little bit hard. Now, if you go slowly on it, it doesn't do it. So, not sure exactly what the issue is. I went ahead and did actually swap out different battery packs. I have one with a bigger amperage BMS and everything else like that to rule out that it's a current issue. And I also switched out the balancer to a higher amperage balancer in the back. Since it has two batteries, it actually has a battery balancer, and I switched that out to a 40 amp rated one and it still doesn't. So at this point I think it's either the controller or the motor itself, but I'll go and demonstrate it. Sorry about the rain. Fortunately, it's been like this all day. It's the only time I had to do this though. Alright, let's go ahead and you can see on the odometer I got about 43 miles on this already. Let's see if we can hear the hopping. And there you go. That's the hopping. You can hear the hopping. But if I go and let off of it, it goes away. And it does that every single time pretty much. Even the battery's full, it still does it. It just constantly always does it. It doesn't matter what. Fortunately, it's an issue with this bike, and I'll go and demonstrate it one more time. Let's go ahead. And I'm pretty sure you can hear it. You can even see it probably vibrate a little. But if I go and let off the throttle and just go at it slowly, it doesn't do it. You can hear now it's nice and quiet. And that's the problem with this e-bike pretty much. Fortunately, I already tried to contact the manufacturer. I went ahead and showed a video actually describing the problem, but they were of no help, so I would just avoid this company altogether. So this one here is going to be the 750 watt one. So I'm going to show you that it does not have that hopping issue. This one's normal. So let's go ahead and do this, get some lights on, and let's take it for a spin. And this is the good one. This is the way it should sound. Like I said, this is the 750 water. Same bike pretty much, but this has the lower power. And I got the throttle at 100%. You can hear. And absolutely no hopping. The motor is nice and smooth. Here's a car coming, so I gotta let him go. Alright, and then here we go. We'll go and go for it again. And like I said, this one rides perfect. This one doesn't have the problem. And I got about 50 miles on this one. Now it does go faster than 15 and 16. I'm just not taking it really fast. It goes up to about 25 or so on this one. But there you go. That's the whole entire problem. But like I said, just to show you, it's not an issue with the 750. It's only an issue with the 1000 water.